everybody. Good morning. I'm happy that you're here. I hope that you have enjoyed the day yesterday and also the night between yesterday and today. In this session, I try to talk about pdfToolbox, so which is kind of the next future of PDF. And so a new ISO standard, as I already mentioned yesterday, a new ISO standard, a new PDF ISO standard that has recently been published, and also about PDF X-6. And actually we have that here on the agenda. It's pdfToolbox, PDF X-6, so a new version, a new standard part for PDF X, and also what you can do since we recently released pdfToolbox 9.4 in our products with regards to pdfToolbox. And again, so in my sessions always, so whenever you have a question or want to add something, just feel free to do so. So a few words before on the general aspects of pdfToolbox. It was a really long process at ISO, so it took almost 10 years to develop it. It's a big standard. It's almost 1,000 pages, so it's bigger than the older ones, just from its size, and also due to the democratic procedures within ISO, things sometimes tend to take longer than in a more hierarchical process. So, and both contributed to the fact that it really was a long story to go there, and also lots of work. But the outcome of it means it's really now an ISO document. So the previous version, ISO 32000-1, was more or less some translation from PDF 1.7 that was being published by Adobe to ISO, and this is a much more severe conversion of that document. And also, Adobe in this process was just one contributor amongst others. So there were many people in the room and everybody had the same vote. So it was really a process controlled by ISO and not by Adobe. Maybe the downside of that is it's not free anymore. So the standard PDF specification was always free when it was being published by Adobe, and so was ISO 32000-1, because it still merely was an intermediate document. But now, since it's a real ISO standard, it costs money as every other ISO standard, and that basically is the rule or how ISO is organized. So they use the money that they get for selling standards in order to pay for the administrative organization of ISO, so all the contributions of the experts in the group are free, so nobody earns money for that, but for the administrative organization, money is needed, and that comes from selling standards. So, and that means it now costs almost 200 Swiss francs to get this standard at ISO, and or the standard bodies like the German DIN or other countries also sell these standards. So in the beginning, a management summary if you want. So what is pdfToolbox? In my opinion, it's not a revolution. So there are no real new USP, no very big new features that pdfToolbox introduces. It has lots of cleanup has taken place. So the standard is has many clarifications and more clearer regulations. Also, of course, some new features, and I will introduce you to them in this session, but no revolutions. And then, maybe even more important, or also important, is that pdfToolbox is going to be the basis of all the other PDF-based ISO standards like pdfX, pdfA, pdfE, and so forth. A first slide for the ones who are now asking, okay, what do I have to do for my PDF workflows now? So how do I need to prepare for pdfToolbox? So first, if you have, and I'm sure none of you already has a pdfToolbox workflow. So if you have a PDF1 based workflow from a PDF1 processor, all the new features of pdfToolbox are optional or are private. So usually a PDF processor, a pdfA1, a PDF1 processor will ignore any pdfToolbox feature. So PDF has always been designed to be extensible, so it was always possible to add private data, and many vendors, for example, callas, but also others have introduced private data into PDF, and such data was simply being ignored by any PDF processor that couldn't understand that. So that means, in fact, maybe you receive a pdfToolbox file at some point in the future and you don't even recognize it. From what we have seen with the pdfToolbox files that we have worked on, that maybe in this regard the most dangerous feature is simply the PDF entry in the header. So every PDF file in the header has its version number, it has a percentage sign, and then PDF-20 or PDF-17 or whatever. And if a PDF processor would look into the header just to find out what version number there is, it might be that he is not, or this processor is not prepared to read a 2.0 there, and we have seen software that then just crashes. So therefore, in order to prepare for pdfToolbox, it makes sense to just take any pdfToolbox file that in its header has pdfToolbox and just put it into the workflow. And if you would want to do so, there are a couple of these files, for instance, available from the PDF Association in this link here. So having that said, the real problems may only occur if you receive pdfToolbox files with features that have been introduced by pdfToolbox, and your customer or the creator of the PDF file expects you to take these new features into account. So that is the problem that has to be solved. And then, of course, now we need to understand better what these features are. And then now we will go into the new features of pdfToolbox. And to make it, I mean, these are just a handful. I think it's 7 new features or so I want to mention here, where I think there are much more, but these features I think are important for prepress and print workflows. The others are more for document processes. And in order to make it a little bit more easy, I try to group them in 2 different print developments, so to make a little bit of order into these 7 or 8 features. And the first group has to do features that are related to automation and industrialization, and the other features are more related to color. So the first feature on this list of new pdfToolbox features is DPart Metadata. Who of you know what DPart Metadata is? Yeah, okay, yes. DPart metadata is not has not been invented by PDF 2.0, so it was there around. It was defined in pdfVT, an ISO standard for PDF for variable and transactional printing, invoice printing, for instance. And in this area, you have usually huge files. I mean, lots, many pages in the PDF file, and these pages are to be printed and in many cases distributed via mail to the receivers, like an invoice that, of course, each page is different then because each invoice is different, and then you have the problem you want in your PDF file information about the zip code for each of the invoice so that you can sort the print output or maybe sort the PDF pages before they are printed in a zip code order so that you can then send the sorted printed output to your mail service provider and then get a better fee from them. And for that you need information inside of the PDF file to which, for instance, zip code this page belongs, and that has been or can be accomplished by means of a metadata structure in a PDF file that is organized in a tree, similar to the page tree and associated, of course, with a page tree, and that allows you to insert metadata into your PDF file for assigning informations to pages. The same mechanism can be used for different purposes, so not just for zip codes. You could as well use that mechanism in order to assign different metadata. For instance, here there is an example to say this page is intended to go to a 4C printing process, a color process, while other pages in your PDF files go to the black and white printer. And that may also be important in digital print, on digital print machines, where the print machine needs to feed correctly so that you don't pay for a color page where you only have a black and white page. And this DPart metadata structure has been defined in pdfVT and has simply taken over into PDF 2.0. And yes, as I've said, so this is metadata, so you have, just to not be confused, you also have the XMP metadata in PDF, and that also can be associated with a PDF page, but from an internal PDF point of view, that is then associated with the page object, while the DPart metadata is a hierarchical structure, and that makes it easier to find out which pages have a certain metadata value.
Sorry to
no problem.
What pdfVT version are we speaking about? What complexity of pdfVT we are speaking about? Because we speak also about let's say variable data with the image files, or we are speaking only about variable data which is a pdfVT version.
Okay. In pdfVT, you have pdfVT1, where you have all the pages in a PDF file. So each invoice page is a page in your PDF file. And then you have pdfV2, where you have external data, where your PDF file forms more the template into which you just put the data from, I don't know, a comma-separated file or whatever. This metadata only makes sense in pdfVT1 because there you have the final pages, while in pdfV2, where you would just, the zip code is not in the template, of course, it comes from the dynamic data, and then there is no need for such metadata.
So technically speaking, we are speaking about pdfVT version 1.
VT1, yes. And I mean, I haven't seen many pdfVT files coming from the real world, so I have seen a few. Ah, you do? Okay. Interesting. So then I'm not aware of any pdfV2 implementations or projects. You neither. Okay. There are? Okay, I'm interested in that. So we have lunch. Okay. One big problem with DPart is, in my opinion, is that it defines a syntax. So it tells you how to integrate metadata in your PDF file, but it doesn't say to you. So it defines how you can set up a certain property, metadata property, but it doesn't tell you which properties to use for which purpose. And that, of course, means that is interoperability of the whole thing is at least limited, because you first need to agree if you create a pdfVT file with that metadata, you first need to agree with the processor in which way you would want this syntax to reflect the metadata that you want to transfer with the PDF file. And for this reason, because I think this is an important limitation of the whole thing, I want to step a little bit aside now and mention that there is a different ISO standard that is currently being worked on, which is called Common Document Metadata, and that exactly tries to resolve this and to define standardized metadata fields to be used, and they are intended to be used in DPart metadata structures. This is in an early stage, so it's a working draft, so it will take at least 1 or 2 more years in order to be published, but this work is mainly based on the ZIP4 XJDF specification, so the actual names of the metadata fields will mostly be taken from there. So, but this was just a sidestep, and I think only then, if this has been published, only then DPart metadata may really become important in actual processes. Okay, next, also related to, and this is again pdfToolbox, also related to metadata. So in PDFA and PDF1, you have 2 important document level metadata field areas. One is the document information and the other is XMP. And then if you have 2 areas where you may have the same metadata, of course this may create problems because they may not be in sync with each other. And then pdfToolbox simply says the old document information is going away, so that is deprecated. And if it would be used in a pdfToolbox file, it can be treated as private data, but usually it shouldn't be there. Okay? So next, and maybe more important to prepress workflows, are page-based output intents. So this is usually one of the first things that is being mentioned when you talk about pdfToolbox for printing. Who of you does not know what an output intent is? Yeah. So we can skip that one, that part. Okay, no, I have to think about the drink. Yeah, so it's in PDF, I always say PDFA1, it's PDF1. You have only document level output intents, so you can only define for the whole PDF file for which printing process it has been created, so whether it's for ISO-coated or whatever. In pdfToolbox, it's also possible to define that on a page level. So similarly to DPart, it allows you to be more flexible to, for instance, we use the same example here, to have a print product where only the cover uses color and all the inside in the inner part of the product just use black and white. Up until now, you either have to create 2 PDF files for the 2 parts, or you just use a 4C output intent for the whole document, which may create then problem when you use that PDF file on a digital printing machine, which can produce the whole thing, but you want, of course, a printing machine to only use color for the cover parts and not for the rest of the whole thing, because you have to pay your provider of the printing machine more for color pages that you print than for black and white pages. And then it definitely makes sense to have 2 different output intents in such a PDF file. And I think this is, it allows you to do more automation, to be more flexible in pre-press workflows, because you don't have to create 2 PDF files for just one printing product. It allows you to just enter more information into your PDF file so that it may contain of different parts that go through different production processes. So this was the things that I believe are related to automation and industrialization, so more flexibility when it comes to automation. And then now about color. So first there is, I think this was just missing in PDF1, really. Black point compensation. So it's just not 15 minutes, so I have to hurry a little bit. Black point compensation. Black point compensation is a parameter for color conversion, and up until now it was just so that you tell your engine whether it should use black point compensation or not. Usually black point compensation gives you better results. So in most cases it was just on. But there may be cases where that is not intended, so where the creator of the PDF file says, yeah, but for this image I don't want you to use black point compensation. And until now that simply was not possible, because it was not possible to just tell the PDF file about this fact, and now it has become possible. So in pdfToolbox you have the black point compensation flag, and you can turn it on or off on an object level. So you can say use black point compensation for the whole document, but not for this image. And it doesn't make sense. So usually the creator of the PDF file would enter that information into the PDF file, and then the processor would just use it. Next is CXF and mixing hints. That is related to spot colors. Mixing hints, information about what a mixing of spot colors would create. In PDF1, that was already possible to have it in a PDF file, but only on an object level, not for the whole document. But this information, how to mix spot colors, actually makes more sense to have that for the whole document. So in pdfToolbox, it has become possible to have that in the output intent dictionary. So for defined on the document level, but of course in pdfToolbox also again on the page level if you have the output intent on the page level. I hope I haven't confused you now. So, but mixing hint, I haven't seen a lot of them. So it was possible to have that on an object level in PDF1, but it's not used a lot. CXF has more power, I think, that is spectral data. So you can now embed spectral measurements for spot colors into your PDF file. And that allows you for better reproduction of the spot colors. So I had here in my previous slide a few brand owners, and of course all of them they are really, I think you all know that, picky about their colors. And if you have a printing device that by its nature cannot print spot colors, then you need to reproduce them with whatever color space you have. That might be a 4-color offset printing machine, but that might as well be a 7-color digital printing machine. So, and ICC-based color conversion allows you to get good results, but if you would base your processes on real spectral measurements, it would potentially give you much better results. And pdfToolbox only takes care of providing that spectral metadata. So it doesn't say anything about how to use it, but it just makes it possible to enter these measurements into PDF files so that any processor may take advantage of that. And as of today, specialized products from companies like ColorLogix or so, they are also already able to use that spectral measurements. And you can have a very simple thing where CXF only has 3 measurements for the full color or for the just a substrate, or you have in between several measurements, and you even can have measurements on pre-printed black color. So, and then you can process based on spectral data also the what happens if 2 spot colors interact with each other. So I think this is an important step forward, but it's, as I have said, it's not the complete solution. It just allows you to enter the data, but as of today you would need proprietary solutions to actually use that data. Screening, it's just briefly, so it's you can enter information about rasterization into your PDF file. So that allows for arbitrary spot color functions, meaning the shape of your raster point, or the origin of the halftone screen. Finally, there is a requirements array in pdfToolbox that may have information about what specific features in this pdfToolbox file are used, and how a processor needs to be designed to fully use all these features. So I mean, that already was what I wanted to say about pdfToolbox feature-wise. Now, getting back to the questions of how to prepare for pdfToolbox. So I think and I already mentioned that, what one could do already today is just try out whether a pdfToolbox file would break a workflow. So usually I would expect it should just be processed. Of course, the pdfToolbox features wouldn't be taken into account, but no tool in the production chain should just crash. And that can be tested, and also vendors should be asked whether they are preparing for pdfToolbox if you buy new equipment. Then, if you really want to prepare for it, maybe the next step would then be to pre-flight for pdfToolbox features, so that in your workflows you know this is a file that has and that uses pdfToolbox features. And then maybe the next step would be to try to convert features if possible, but to be honest, if we look at the feature set, so there is nothing in pdfToolbox that is new. Like what would you do with a page level output intent? Of course, you can remove it. If you want, you can process it with a page so that you already convert those pages for the destination color page space, but usually the only thing that you can do, you export that data from the PDF file so that you know this and that page was tagged with a different output intent from the output intent that was valid for the whole document. So I think in most cases, if somebody says I can convert a pdf2o file into a pdf17 file, that doesn't make sense. Usually you can just get rid of that information and say there was this or that information in the PDF file. Okay, and then if you want to convert your workflows in real pdf2o workflows, then you would usually start at the end, prepare with your DFE or with your RIP. That should be pdf2o aware, and the good message here is that all the vendors in that area are part of the ISO committees and either already have products that are prepared for pdf2o or will have rather soon, and then go from there forward in the workflow just to make sure if in the beginning a tool uses pdf2o features that all subsequent tools are prepared for that. So, and when to do that? So maybe this only will be introduced when PDF X-6 will be around, because only then I guess vendors will start implementing these features into the PDF creation softwares. So what can you do with pdfToolbox for pdf2o? With a recent release, so we have prepared features for all the new pdf2o things that I have just mentioned. There is a profile available that checks for pdf2o that is not, unfortunately, not in the product, so it didn't make it in the release, but it can be downloaded from our online documentation. And this is just a screenshot of the checks in the profile. And I briefly want to go over these features again, just and explain for each of them what is in PDF Toolbox. Again, DPart Metadata, the metadata hierarchy. Yeah, we have a validation profile for PDF v2, so and that not just checks for the presence of DPart metadata, but also for the validity of the whole metadata structure, and that can easily be used to check, to not just check for the presence, which is in the has pdf2o features profile, so this would just check for the presence of the DPart metadata, but if you really want to use it, you may just use a PDF VT profile or parts of it to check for the validity of the whole structure. Page-based output intents, there are several checks. So has page-level output intent. You can also embed a page-level output intent. You can, there are two flavors of this fix-up to add that, and you can also remove them. And in the result view and the viewer in pdfToolbox desktop standalone, you have an indicator here for the output intent, and that reflects the output intent on page level. So if the page that you're currently looking at has different output intent than the next page, this would change there. Blackpoint compensation entry, yeah, it's straightforward. So there is a check for the presence of it. You can set it. You can not just check for the presence, but also for the value in the. So there may be 3 different values in the Blackpoint compensation entry, and you may remove it. Yeah, and if you can also set it if you want, and that you would usually combine with a filter. So you would say whatever, every image on page 2 that uses this or that color space as its source color space, that should not use Blackpoint compensation, whatever.
One question. In your color conversion paragraph, there's still a checkbox, use Blackpoint compensation, which can only be switched on and switched off.
Yeah, I think that is going to change. It should be on, off, or default.
Okay. So there's
Yeah, I think I
You
entered.
said your fixes already support PDF.
Yeah, I mean, okay, there is a default is nothing else than if there is
The
no.
question was, if I set it, if I create a fixer profile, like if I say set black point compensation to on throughout the PDF file,
Yeah,
and I would then color convert it using the color conversion fixer,
yeah.
and their black point compensation is not checked. It would not be applied because there's at the moment black point compensation can only be switched on and switched
You
off.
mean in color conversion that should be taken into account? That is.
Same as the page
Yeah.
level output,
Yeah, then that would be taken into account in color conversion if you say use output or output intent overrides the destination profile. Yeah, we will double check, but I think that should be the case. Okay? CXF is, I didn't mention that beforehand, it also has not been invented by pdfToolbox, it just has been taken over from another ISO standard, CXF X4. And then again, there are various checks, so you can check for the number of entries, can check for conformance level. Conformance level is whether you only have a few measurements. So this was the spectral data, or also, for instance, the black pre-printed substrate. You can check for the conformance of the entries. You can check whether CXF and data is present for a particular spot color. You can delete it, and also if there is CXF data in your PDF file, there is an indicator in desktop. Mixing hands, again, you can check for it, and then there even checks whether this works together. If you have CXF and mixing hands, that is not permitted in CXF X4, so you can also check for that. And then again, there are a few checks for halftone information. And finally, but last but not least, almost last, requirements. The requirements entry, you can also check for that one. Whether this array has entries that require pdfToolbox. And really last is there also is a fix-up so that you can set the PDF version, and that is now has been extended, so it was an easy one for us. You can also enter pdfToolbox in the PDF header, so if you want to create a pdfO file just to find out whether any of the tools is crashing just because of this entry in the header, you may as well just use this fix-up with any PDF file that you have and modify the entry in its header. So now pdfToolbox has been covered, so now looking into future, so what will happen in PDFX on the background of pdfToolbox. So first, of course, PDF X-6 will inherit all the stuff that I have mentioned from pdfToolbox. So PDF X-6 will basically allow you to use all these features, and only then, by the way, it is for everybody clearly defined that and in which way a page level output intent should be used. So there are companies on the earth that say an output intent is only defined in a PDFX or in a PDFA or in a PDFE file. So outside of these PDF ISO standards, they are not. So at least there are companies around. So I wouldn't say that it's so. Anyway, PDF X6 allows you to use these features, and there is just one major additional feature in PDF X6 as it is planned today, and that is the print area of a PDF file, PDF page may contain annotations or comments, so that was not permitted, is not permitted in PDF X4, but that will be, most probably will be permitted in PDF X6. But this annotation then will have to have an appearance stream. An appearance stream is, wow. Okay, I have to quickly rush over because I'm out of time. Appearance stream defines the appearance of the thing, and of course the appearance stream again has to conform to all the rules of PDF X6 then. Currently working draft, so publication not before 2019, and I think only by then pdfToolbox will become relevant. It will have 3 conformance level, PDF X6, this is the stuff that we know already in PDF X4. PDF X6P will be the successor of PDF X4P with external output intent, so the output intent ICC profile is not embedded, and XN will be the successor of PDF X5, and for bigger color spaces like a 7 color space, for instance. So summary, pdfToolbox has been published in 2017. There are several new features, no revolutions, addressing automation and advanced color conversion. A pdfToolbox 9.4 also already allows for checking, removing, converting, or adding pdfToolbox features. PDF X6, maybe the publication of PDF X6 may be the point and the time in the future when pdfToolbox features really come and get into printing processes, and that may take place in 2019. So, and that's it for this morning. Thank you very much for staying here with me, even a few more minutes longer than scheduled. Yeah, any questions?
I have a question regarding the possibility to choose, let's say, for example, as you mentioned, black point compensation. Doesn't you find that leaving this as a default feature for the software, doesn't you find this feature a little bit dangerous?
No. I just said I wonder why that has not been in PDF all the time. I mean, it's a flag that makes sense in color conversion, and I think it really makes sense to define this on an object level and not just on my color conversion engine level. So I think that was just missing, and pdfToolbox just closes a gap there.
The same goes, maybe I don't get it right, but you are able right now in PDF 1.7, you are able on the image level to assign it to the output profiles. So now it will be just defined like a standard, or what's the difference between?
As of today, in PDF1, you just say this color conversion shall use black point compensation, but you as a processor or as the one who sets the color conversion engine up have to define that, and there is no way to define that in the PDF. So and then of course it's not possible to say, okay, in this PDF file I want the background image to not use black point compensation, but this text should use black point compensation. And so
as a clarification, today you cannot define that black point compensation. You have not even in PDF 1.7.
yeah.
Black point compensation, I agree. But regarding the output intents,
There's also not possible in 1.7. In 1.7 you only can have one output intent per PDF file. You cannot define it per image.
you can say in the image which profile is used.
There's a source profile.
Yes. Yeah, the source profile.
The source profile, yes, that you can have on an object level, and the source profile says how it has been created. The output intent more says what was the intended output condition, and then in pdfToolbox you can say this page is intended for a different output condition, and I think a good example is it has been intended to be printed on a black and white printer, while the other page is intended to be printed on a color device, color printer. Okay? Robert.
Feature on by default is actually a good idea because Acrobat is always using
Black point.
Even if you switch.
Now you're going back to black point commutation. Now you're going back to black point commutation.
Yeah, because that is what we started with. The question is it a good idea to have maximum compensation by default on?
Yeah, usually it is. So there may be situation where you don't want to apply it, but usually then only on particular objects, and now you can set that up.